Hi, this is Bill Spatrino. Today is December 18th, 2018. This is the first episode of my new show, The Truth Machine. Okay, some of you have listened to me on The Dividend Machine, and this show is going to encompass the things that the liberal media and even Fox News and stuff, other than Judge Jeanine, Lou Dobbs, and Sean Hannity, you're not really hearing the straight news. You're hearing what the Murdoch brothers and CNBC and MSNBC want to tell you, okay? This is going to be the truth factor, okay? I started in 2010. I was writing for an article for my company, Newsmax, and I got to talk about the election. And you can Google Bill Spatrino and Donald Trump. And I wrote an article saying that if Donald Trump ran for president, he would win. He would bring China to their knees and different things like that. I got a crazy amount of emails, and I had people in the political department telling me that Trump wasn't going to win. We did a seminar at the Biltmore in Coral Gables, right in 2015. Actually, it was about 3 years ago. It was a summit. I was speaking with Jim Rogers and a lot of other people. And they were telling me, I was talking to people that worked because Jeb Bush actually had an office in the Biltmore, and Marco Rubio worked out there. And I was meeting people from his campaign, and I just told them, I said, look, I sat next to Dick Morris. I talked to Larry Kudlow, and I told him, I said, Donald Trump, I live in Ohio. They picked the winner. Donald Trump is going to be the president. People thought I was out of my mind. Okay, still thought it. And I wanted to bet them. I offered to make them bets, those of you that know me. And we'll have a section we're going to talk about the three subjects I know the most about: politics, investing, and sports. And those of you that know me know I like to make a bet. And I offered to bet any of them $100,000 that Trump would win the Republican primary. And they were acting like I didn't have the 100,000. I'm like, you don't have the 100,000. I do. Those of you that know me know I'm a investor that's beaten the markets over the last 25 years. Okay. It was funny because I live in Ohio, and in Ohio, the president is elected out of that state. And it's funny because I got to meet Jeffrey Taylor, Miranda Borg, Claire Kennedy, just to name a few. And we were all for Trump, okay, before it was cool. People will tell you, oh, I was with him early, 2016, 2015. This is 2010. Okay, we went out on a limb. Okay, those of you that were on Facebook and follow me at Bill Spatrino Jr., you can also hit me up on LinkedIn at Bill Spatrino, okay, or Bill Spatrino Jr. on Facebook. And we saw that Donald Trump, he's a shameless self-promoter, and I say that in the greatest thing. I read the book, The Art of the Deal. It was once I read it, I knew this guy could speak the truth. He spoke to the people, even though he was a billionaire. Just like me, I relate to people, okay? I know a lot of people in politics and sports. I've met many famous people. I don't really get along with them, okay? I like talking to regular people. That's where I get my sports information. My greatest investing information came from my daughter when she was 11 years old. Okay, and I parlayed that. I listened to people talk to me about memorabilia, about different things that I know about. Okay, and that's how I learn things. So we're really basically going to talk about, in these shows, we're going to talk about politics and investing and how the two relate to our president, Donald Trump. And then we're going to talk a little bit about sports. And that's going to be our episodes. And I'd like to get a cross-section of people, okay? People ask me, what's this show going to be like? I said, well, I'm a smarter Sean Hannity. I'm a better-looking Lou Dobbs, okay? But that's going to be happening. And with my producer, Michael Stifler, and it's just going to be a two-man game. Will we get interviews with people? I don't know who's going to want to come with us. Okay. So we got this group together, and this is the first episode. In the political part of it, there's four hypocrites I want to call out. Nobody's going to call them out. Okay. You know who they are, but you're not going to call them out. I'm calling them out. Okay, the first hypocrite is Mr. Chuck Schumer, the senator from New York. Okay, 10 years ago, he talked about how we needed a border wall to protect the country. Now he doesn't want to, he's telling these people we don't need a wall. Okay. I mean, I don't know what if he had an epiphany. I don't know what happened to him. I mean, I think going in the swamp. Okay, we talk about the deep state. Okay, the deep state are the people, and the swamp are the people in Washington. They're professional. Trust me, I've met many professional politicians in both parties. I can't stand them. I can count on one hand how many of them I like. I asked a good political operative friend of mine, I'm not going to name him here until I get permission to do so. And I asked him, I said, how many of these politicians that you know care about America? He said, none of them, Bill. The only one he knows that cares about America is Trump. And we were both on the Trump train very early. Okay, and this same guy knows about football too. And he predicted about my Browns, how many games they would win. And we're going to talk about that later. But Schumer, he backed the Iran deal, okay? And this is the part that I want everybody to think about. And just give these statistics to people. We gave Iran, it says 150 billion. They like to quote that. The truth, and this is why you're listening here, was according to Jack Lew, who was Obama's Treasury Secretary, he said we gave Iran 46 billion. Okay, PolitiFact tried to say that he really didn't give 150 billion and he was lying. Okay, we gave him 46 billion. Okay, so we exaggerated a little bit. My point is, we want a $5 billion for a wall. That's all we're asking for. We're asking for $5 billion, and you're not. But giving Iran, a country that hates us, desecrates our flags, and tries to kill us, we give them $46 billion, but we won't give $5 billion for a wall. Okay, that's hypocrite number one is Chuck Schumer. Number two, Adam Schiff. Okay, Adam is a congressman in California. He wants to go after the president and impeach him because of high crimes. You know, the president sexually harassed somebody. What I didn't realize until I had done some research, and this is, again, part of the truth that you'll never hear in the media, Adam Schiff paid sexual harassment claim to a 19-year-old boy. A 19-year-old, okay, 5 years ago. A 19-year-old kid, okay. Picture if that was reversed. He's worrying about Donald Trump. He paid, and this is the thing that's the hypocritical part of it, he paid his sexual harassment suit, okay, with your money, the taxpayers' money. Donald Trump paid hush money to people so he could win an election, okay, because it's cheaper to throw money at a problem than it is to try to fight it in court. These people came out right at the end. They were going to come out in October. You don't think they were paid? Did it happen? It's irrelevant. Schiff is trying to tell people that Trump should be impeached, but yet he should keep his job using the taxpayers' money. Okay. Hypocrite number three, Jackie Spear. Okay, she's the one that said she was sexually harassed in the house and everything. And I felt sorry for her when I'm reading about it. Then they asked her about it, and she said, well, you're talking about the president and how you don't like his attitude, but what about Adam Schiff? What about John Conyers? What about the other people in the House? And you know what her answer was? I couldn't believe this until I got a direct quote. And this is the truth. She said, well, one was about impacting an election. The other is just bad behavior in Congress. Really? Really? So it's okay to do it it's all right to use taxpayers' money to pay off a sexual harassment case and to harass a 19-year-old person. But it's not okay to pay hush money to somebody that is trying to ruin you when you're trying to become president. Okay, they didn't come out for 30 years, and now all of a sudden they're coming out 2 weeks before an election. Okay. That's very hypocritical. Okay. She's trying to say it's the same thing. Folks, one person is using taxpayer money. If I want to use my money to go on vacation, I can do that, okay? If I use your money to go out on vacation, you tell me how fair that is, okay? The last hypocrite we're going to talk about today is this Ilhan Omar, okay? She's a Minnesota congressman. Folks, if you lived in Minnesota and you voted for her, shut this off, okay? I don't ever want to speak to you again. This hypocrite that you elected. And someone said, Billy, you don't like her because she's Muslim. When she said this, I didn't even know she was Muslim. This is what she said. She said, okay, she denounced all religious discrimination and this culture of intolerance. I'm thinking, okay. Last Tuesday, she does a quote to our Vice President Mike Pence, one of the nicest. You know how I say I don't like most politicians? Mike Pence is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Okay, I don't know him, so to speak, but my good friend had dinner with him recently. Nicest person in the world. Okay. And with a quote she put on Twitter, Jesus take the wheel, when he was in this meeting with Chuck Schumer and Trump. I mean, and when she was asked about it, she was flippant. She didn't care. Okay. Folks, there's a person who preaches religious intolerance. Now imagine Curt Schilling, okay, one of my favorite baseball players and athletes of all time, okay, pitched the Arizona Diamondbacks to a championship, said, if anyone else would have made a comment, could you imagine if because it's about Catholicism, nobody cares. Could you imagine if any person on earth would have made a comment about Muslims, what would have happened? Okay. You'd be taken to task. So these are the four hypocrites that we're going to mention. And we're going to have, Paul Harvey used to use knuckleheads in the news. I don't like to copy people from things. I like to do my own thing. And I respected Paul Harvey. Okay. And some of the people asked me to name the show. They wanted me to say the rest of the story because that's what he used to do. I don't copy other people's stuff. That's for other people. As far as the stock market goes, you have today 3 things happened that tried to bring the market down. See, they're all trying to take down our president. Okay. And the purpose, people ask me, Bill, why are you doing this? I'm doing this because I want to spread the word. I think that when I said that we could win an election and we would all go out and go on social media, I lost a lot of subscribers. I had people threaten me on the right and the left to try to get rid of my job. They called my bosses trying to get rid of me. Folks, that's not going to work and make the company too much money. Okay, and I'm good at what I do. And I didn't say anything wrong. I backed Donald Trump. Okay, if you want to try to take me out for that, it's not going to happen. But there's a lot of the people in the deep state want to take him out. Okay, today 3 articles came out. Number 1, Alan Greenspan came out and said the stock market, beware, everything's going to go down. Okay, this is the knucklehead, and this guy's a knucklehead. Okay, I don't care that he was the Treasury Secretary. The guy we had the greatest, he talked about irrational exuberance. He doesn't know what he's doing. Al, I thought you died 5 years ago, okay? Just be quiet. Button it up. You're not an investor. You don't know anything, okay? Let those of us who are investors do the thing. He came out. Then they announced about Michael Flynn's sentencing. Okay, they haven't made a decision on it yet. I don't know what it's going to be. Nobody does. Tried to tank the market. Then they tried to come out with saying that Donald Trump discontinued his charity. Okay, you know why he discontinued it, folks? They're not telling you. Okay, they're telling you he discontinued it. They're insinuating that something's dishonest. Nothing's dishonest. There's only a couple $1 million in a charitable organization. The reason he's getting rid of it is he's being investigated. Okay, they're just doing it to harass him. Okay, and he's going to take the money and he's going to give it to charity, other charities. Okay, he doesn't want the money. He's a billionaire. Okay, the most ridiculous thing of the week, though, is by Chris Matthews. They're trying to say there's a recession. They're trying to say Chris Matthews came out and said the president's going to resign in 2 weeks. He can't take this. Folks, that's wishful thinking. Donald Trump loves this. He loves being the president. He loves helping America. He didn't do this for money. Every other president did this for money or power. Donald Trump was already famous. He did this because he wants to help the American people. He wants to help the working people. He won in Pennsylvania and Ohio because these towns, the working man, nobody thinks of the working man. These globalists, they don't care. Under Obama, and this is something you won't hear, I got very wealthy. People that invest money for a living got wealthy. People who work at jobs didn't. Okay. And it's wrong. Chris Matthews thinks he's going to fold up. Folks, I'm telling you right now, okay? Donald Trump loves the challenge of this, okay? He's got to get two things going, in my opinion, going forward. He's got to get the wall built. He's built part of it, but see, you don't read that in the paper. And he's got to get some people. He's got to get an attorney general in there, and he's got to start investigating these people, okay? But the last subject we're going to talk about is sports, okay? The baseball season, those of you who are on Facebook know I predicted that Chris Sale would be the AL MVP and the Boston Red Sox will win the World Series. I was half right. The Red Sox won, and ironically, Chris Sale struck out the side. He didn't win the MVP because he had arm trouble. He was the leading candidate to win it until his arm came down, and he was smart enough to rest his arm, giving up the individual award to be ready for the World Series. And it was ironic that he struck out the side to end the World Series in the game, seeing his arms up in the air. How did I predict him? Easy. Him and Mike Trout have been all-stars the last 7 years. Okay, they're not guys who go out and seek. They're overachievers. And that's what I try to talk about and look for. I look for the underestimated person. Okay. And, we talk about football. Those of you that went to school with me at Mayfield, I take my dad. We've been going to the Mayfield games. He's been going there for 60 years since he was a player. He was on the only undefeated team. And we go there, and we saw a kid playing quarterback from our arch rival Mentor, and he made a great throw. And I said, Dad, this guy ran to the left and threw the ball 55 yards. This is the best player I've ever seen. And I've seen Bernie Kosar. I've seen Joe Pickens. I've seen a bunch of people play. Nobody like this guy. Mitch Trubisky, he's on the Bears now. Okay, the Bears have a good team. I think that Trubisky is going to be a star. He hasn't reached the pinnacle yet. We're going to predict our Rookie of the Year, our Team of the Year, and our MVPs at the end of the show. But the Rookie of the Year is Baker Mayfield. Okay, here's a guy who's a classic overachiever. Okay, the three guys I'm going to mention here are overachievers. Okay, Saquon Barkley is a great running back for you people like Pete Campanella in New York. And he's a great player. And I liked him going into the draft. But the two players I liked the best were Barkley and Baker Mayfield. Baker is an overachiever. He was a walk-on. He's the only Heisman Trophy winner that was a walk-on. He came on to Texas Tech, walked on, went to Oklahoma, walked on. Okay, this guy, and I'm going to tell you a story about him and why he's not just a great quarterback, but this is a story you won't hear people don't like to talk about this. And a lot of people ask me, Billy, why do you watch the NFL? I thought you were protesting. I was protesting when they were kneeling. They're not kneeling anymore. And I watch my two favorite teams, the Bears with Mitch Trubisky and the Browns, who I've been watching for 55 years. Me and my dad watch the games religiously. We talk on the phone if we don't see each other in person. And I'm going to keep doing it until I'm not here on earth anymore. But what you don't know about Baker is he was at a charity auction last week. Baker comes in. Now, usually they raise about $20,000, $25,000 for this charity. He comes in, and right away he says, this isn't good enough. He takes charge. He comes in. He offers out a dinner with him and his girlfriend, Emily. They're going out. He says, okay, dinner for me and him and two people. The bidding gets so crazy there. He does 10 people. Okay. Him, his girlfriend, and 10 people. and he tells people, I'll meet you 3 nights, and he gets $32,000 a pop on those. So he raises $96,000. Then he auctions off his shoes in a jersey. He raised another $15,000 or $16,000. I keep getting different numbers. I don't know the exact figures. I'm trying to research it, but I don't have it. If someone out there has it, please give it to me. And then he bids on a Prince guitar and pays $10,000. Okay, this guy's a winner. Okay, and you look at him, he's not the biggest, strongest guy. And all these people that I'm naming here are overachievers. Mike Trout was an overachiever. Chris Sale was an overachiever. Baker Mayfield's an overachiever. Okay, he's going to be the MVP or the Rookie of the Year. Okay, there's no question. He could end up having the record for the most touchdown passes as a rookie. But I don't care. I've watched them all. The only player as a rookie that I feel is better than Baker Mayfield was Dan Marino. Okay. Team of the Year. Okay. I look at the teams, and the team this year that I think is going to win it all are the New Orleans Saints. Okay, my friend Kevin Hardy will be happy to hear that. I've always liked Drew Brees. Okay, again, overachiever. He played in college. He didn't play with the best players. He didn't come on to a team like the Baltimore Ravens or whatever. When he came on the Saints, he started in San Diego. He was behind Phillip Rivers, and then he went to New Orleans, and he built it. And here's another guy, 6 feet tall. Okay, said he's too slow. He's too small. Okay, folks, the greatest quarterbacks of all time were not, other than the Manning brothers, and I think their dad Archie was better. Okay, be truthful. Okay, Joe Montana. You don't have to be a tall guy to play the position. Okay, it could help you, but it's not. Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints are the best team, in my opinion, this year, and they're favorites to win the Super Bowl. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the MVP. Everybody's talking about Patrick Mahomes, who's a great player. Drew Brees, who's a great player. And Phillip Rivers, who's a great player. I like all three. But the MVP this year is another underachiever from Buffalo. He didn't get a full ride to the big schools because he was too small. Khalil Mack. He came on the Bears. When they did this trade, me, my dad, and my brother were sitting around. And I said, my dad's like, son, you never played the game, because he played college football. And I said, Dad, he said, he still thinks they gave up too much. And I said, Dad, the Bears have to make this move. Okay, they don't have a choice. If they're right, they're going to win the championship. Okay, and they're going to get in the playoffs. And if they're wrong, they have a window of opportunity with the team that they have. And my choice for MVP, he won't win it, but he's the MVP, is Khalil Mack. I hope you liked the first episode of The Truth Machine. We're going to keep going with different guests as I get people going. This was the first time. So, from behind the wheel of The Truth Machine, this is Bill Spatrino asking you to sit back and enjoy the ride.